Hey guys, PP here. In not so recent news, there's been a big push to redesign old flags. I, for one, couldn't care less. Cancel me if you want, but I don't think many flags are deserving of a redesign. Except maybe the state of Georgia. Yeah, but I have to say, modern flag design is pretty cringe. It focuses on flat, legible, and bold colors. Nothing Baroque, nothing ornate. Now, I'm not a historian, but I feel like the dregs of modern design have been plaguing us for quite some time. If you've ever seen buildings designed in the days of yore and compared them to modern buildings, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like all modern design trends, everything being flat and clean leaves no room for personality. Don't get me wrong, some redesigns are absolutely deserved and can be executed well, but others, not so much. I mean, look at this. Pretty sick, right? But this, that's sick. But you know what I haven't seen much discussion about? The good old Star Spangled Banner herself. And as it's an election year, I thought I'd join the revolution and redesign the flag before some other talentless hack does it. After all, this is the piece of cloth we pledge our allegiance to, so why shouldn't we give it a facelift? It's 2024. Surely there's a better way to represent a modern America. Because if you think about it, this flag was designed when slavery was still around. And contextually, that might not matter, but I'm sure somebody's mad about it. So let's wipe the slate clean and start all over. Seeing as this is the flag of the United States, we need a way to visually represent the marriage of our unitedness with our statesedness. And in case you aren't familiar with the real flag, this is the job of the stars. Each star represents one state. 50 stars, 50 states. 50 states, 50 stars. You get the picture. But unless you're a 9-year-old girl decorating her notebook with stickers, stars are lame. They also pose a bit of a problem. You see, our 50 states line up nice and neat on the flag. But do they represent all of America? This nation is more than just states. There's also Washington, D.C., and Puerto Rico, and Guam, for some reason. As it stands, nobody wants to offer statehood to these territories. Now, it's not because of the imbalance of power present in antiquated institutions like the Senate or the Electoral College. I can confidently say that's never happened before. We are America, and if there's one thing we're all about, it's representation, baby. But nobody would agree to an offer of statehood because then we'd have to add one more star to the flag, and it would look like this. And that's just silly. So I say, away with the stars. What we really need is a symbol that singularly represents the land we live on. I, for one, would petition the audience to consider the classic and most noble mascot of America, the bald eagle. For generations, it has been a timeless... Oh yeah, that's right. Considering America's track record with indigenous populations and our callous approach to environmentalism, I'm not quite so sure that the bald eagle is very reflective of our values. And besides, we want a flag that is future-proof. Imagine 100 years from now, the landscape is a black wasteland, and the only extant animals on Earth are factory-farmed livestock. We don't want the children of the future to ask why we have a chicken on our flag. That would just be embarrassing. We are America, a global superpower. We don't want other nations to associate us with poultry, not on the world stage. Such a country would be a laughingstock. I'll tell you what though, perhaps the symbol we need is Lady Liberty herself. For many, she is synonymous with America. Her torch was the first sight many future Americans saw as they arrived at Ellis Island. Yeah, maybe not. Now stick with me here, because this might be a bit ludicrous. I think the best way to represent the United States is with the United States. That's right, think about it. Nothing screams America more than, well, America. And sometimes it's best to be as on the nose as possible. If you're from Arkansas, you know what I'm talking about. With that settled, we need to address these gaudy stripes. 13 stripes for each of the original colonies. Blah, blah, blah. Who cares? And my man, what is this color scheme? We look like a nation of candy canes. And maybe that isn't too far off the truth given the prevalence of diabetes in this nation, but what does the candy cane actually represent? The red represents hardiness and valor, whatever that means. But the white, purity and innocence? Yeah, I don't think we can claim those. So that's better. Now, as for the hardiness and valor we possess, considering they were probably contrived up and assigned to us by a rumpled up curmudgeon 150 years ago, I think we can do better. Red, I like, but I think a darker red could represent our power and bloodlust as a nation. I mean, how many countries have we invaded? And for what? We nuked Japan, and all we got was Naruto and gas station sushi. Anyways, back to the flag. It's not half bad, but it's still pretty empty, so let's fill her up. We need ideas. I'm just going to Google best things about America. Number 1, barbecue. Okay, so maybe, something definitely feels inappropriate about this. Number 2, the Grand Canyon. I don't know what kind of list this is, but I'll give it a try. Oh, yeah, that's definitely inappropriate. All right, I'm done with this list. I'm not even going to try number 3. And since it worked so well earlier, maybe multiple layers of self-referential derivativeness could be just what we need. Again, so maybe we fill the space with the original flag. Nah, that's stupid. But it does give me an idea. What if we brought back the stripes? We can get creative with it. A little bit of red tiger action. We just need 150 headshots and... never mind. Moving on. Maybe just normal stripes. And I wouldn't say no to having 13 stripes either. After all, we already know that amount fits well on the flag. But like I said, nobody cares about the 13 colonies. So I would suggest we leverage the 13 to represent the 13th Amendment. Yes, thank you, I am a hero. Hold your applause. You see, the 13th Amendment demonstrates a very relevant side of our history. And it really hammers home the idea that America is the land of the free. Wait, what? We didn't outlaw slavery? Okay, so maybe we still have state-sponsored slavery. That's just, and it disproportionately affects black and minority populations. Yeah, so maybe we reintroduce the stripes as the names of historically significant black Americans. Maybe that will inspire Congress to amend the 13th Amendment. In the meantime, I think that looks pretty good. But we are missing something. And that something is the fact that the top 1% own more wealth than the entire middle class combined. So to recognize the contributions of these great Americans, let's add a green stripe across the top 1% of the flag. Ooh, but that intersects with our fancy blue square, which represents what again? Justice? I mean, as far as qualities go, I guess that's okay. If the definition of justice hadn't become quite so dilute in America. So maybe we can just water it down a bit, and now we can say it represents the sea. Nope, different sea. That's the one. And for a nation with as much coastline as the US, that isn't half bad as far as symbolism goes. It's just that our coastline is rapidly approaching, so maybe we can make it bigger to match. Okay, I think that's good. Nope, that's a little bit too much. Yeah, too much climate change going on here. Okay, stop messing around. Go back. Go back. Oh, that's right. We can't go back. Well, now we have the 2050 state flag for Florida. And since we're working on flags, let's fix it up for them. To start, we'll give them a marshy green patch of swamp to stand on, because they don't care about the other states. And you know what? We'll bring back the stripes, with a few modifications. Finally, we need a symbol. Something they can identify with. Something subtle. Ah, yes, the metrosexual ruler of the swamplands in his true glory. Except, I don't know if you guys remember, he said that one thing that one time.
He says, "You're not going to be a dictator, are you?" I said, no, other than day one.
So, that's Florida if I've ever seen it. But we're getting too carried away here. Let's get back to the United States. Apparently the blue on the flag also represents perseverance. I mean, sure, why not? That's as good a reason as any. And given our incredible commitment to persevere through climate change and speed up straight past it, no heed, no looking back, I think we can go with the safe, smoggy gray of a coal-filled atmosphere. Now that's what I'm talking about, except we're missing some of that classic American arrogance. After all, we are number one, with an asterisk. Okay, a pretty big asterisk. Except that looks like a star now, and we don't do those here. So let's yeet it. That's better. Now, I think this is a very fair representation of the United States of America in 2024. Be that as it may, we are a very polarized country, and we know this would never, ever receive widespread support. We all know that some people would take great issue with the names forming the stripes. Not because they're black, oh no, that would be racist. The outcry would be tenuously related to some vague and completely unimportant vexillological standard from centuries past. Something about not showing text on flags, and for no other reason than that, I promise. And as the saying goes, disagreement in a democracy is the signal for compromise. And that's also the signal for the Overton window to creep away forevermore. So if one side gets text, then the other does too. And before you know it, we'll have a big fat "In God We Trust" on the flag. But don't mind the obvious oversight in regards to the separation between church and state, because it's somehow anti-communist, which also isn't a First Amendment violation because communists hate America, or something like that. But that's not all, because when that's approved, our little Schrodinger's window will tiptoe to the right and the name stripes will be removed. After a little bit of turmoil in the legislative branch, some Twitter digging, multiple congressional resignations for poorly aged tweets, and a government shutdown later, the stripes will be brought back as solid bars, because the turning of a blind eye and the unwilling, tacit recognition of America's failings without systematically addressing them is the culture of American politics. But we won't cry about it, because now we have more room for the Lord, our Heavenly Father. Finally, feeling thoroughly satisfied with their defeat, the party of capitulation will roll over to receive a belly rub from an apathetic owner. And we'll have our flag. So, what do you think? Do you agree that this is an accurate representation of the United States? Let me know what changes you would make. As for me, I think it's perfect. So yeah, I'll catch you guys next time.